All right, so it's the middle of the month and let's talk about the books that I have read. So this is going to be my mid-month wrap-up for April. I have read a handful of books that I think are worth talking about, so let's get into it. So this month I've been reading things that are all over the place. I read 3 books this month so far, one being a really sad prequel, one being a sequel that was funnier than the original, and the third was the first in a series of duets. First off, I accidentally hooked up with a vampire by Jessica Cage. This book is on Kindle Unlimited. Both books are. This is the second book in this series. I believe there's going to be a third one. It is about a woman who also has been fired from her job. She's directly connected to the main female character from the first book, so that was really exciting. But our main character here, she is a ball of one-liner jokes. Her friends are there for her. They're down bad. They've been with her for 15 years, and I thought that the characterization and the humor in this second book was very, very welcomed. It was very enjoyable. The main female character isn't as judgmental as the main character from the first book, which I thought was really nice. And I quite enjoyed the dynamic between our female main character and the love interest in this book. They were they were giving each other what they needed. He was very attentive to her needs, and she wasn't afraid to talk about what she needed and what she wanted and what she had to accomplish. So I thought that was great. Which leads me to our second book, which was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. If you've read the Hunger Games books, you already know there's going to be trauma, there's going to be sadness, there's going to be retrospection. And this book gave you all of those things. It ramped up all of the things I just mentioned up to a 10 in my opinion, on a scale of 10. She had a lot to say about our current climate, about AI, about there was a lot of imagery there. If you do not like The Raven, the poem The Raven, and you won't like this book. There's a lot of commentary on politics and narratives and just talking about what you think is true and what is being presented to you, whether or not that is true or if that is a narrative that is being spoon-fed to you by the establishment. So I thought that was really nice. Not in content, but in, the presentation of the book. There was a lot of what you, I guess, can call fan service, but I didn't really see it as that. I just saw it as characters that have been mentioned in the original stories being introduced to you in a different way here in the prequels. And I thought it made sense. I thought it wasn't too fan servicey. I didn't think that she was trying to really phone it in for anybody. So that was very, very, very nice. I also enjoyed how she was able to ramp up the ante at every part of the story. I did not feel like it dragged at all. And I had thought that she brilliantly developed those characters over the course of the book. They grew on me. Even the most unlikable characters, I was sitting there like, well, they're coming from a place that I personally can see where they're coming from. But they also said some really brutal things, and I was like, dang, wow. But I'm excited for the movie that is coming out. Lionsgate quickly released that they're going to be releasing the Sunrise on the Reaping movie in 2026. So I will be there. I'll be watching it. My last book that I have finished in the first 15 days of April is Songbird and A Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the first book of 2 in this duet. She writes a series of duet books, and this is the second set. So this is technically the 4th book that I have read in the overarching Crowns of Naxia series. But this book features a female main character that is a side character in the first 2 books. She's pretty prominent side character, so you shouldn't be like, who is this? I would not recommend reading this book if you are listening to this video first, because again, it is the first book in a set of, it's a duet of books, but it's the second one, like I've been saying, in a series. So again, this is the 4th book in this overarching series, but it is mentioning things that have happened in Carissa's previously published works. The Songbird of Heart and Stone is, it's about the side character from the first set of books, and she is doing time. So that means that she gets to go and help a bad boy with a task that he has, and they are going into the underworld, and with that, you know, they might find some romance and things like that. This is a very fantasy romance centered book. The other 2 books that I've read, one, the Sunrise on the Reaping, is a dystopian, and I accidentally hooked up with a vampire. It's just a contemporary romance. The Sunrise and the Heart of Stone is a fantasy romance through and through. It's very slow burn, in my opinion. I had a lot of faults with this book. It wasn't my favorite, but I did like this one more than the second book. I thought the writing was still really good, and the atmosphere that she was able to craft was fun, but I did not like the world building. I didn't quite understand it, and maybe that's just me. I did read this book through also Kindle Unlimited, and I listened to it as well. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the way that the world was depicted. I wasn't a big fan of the repetition in terms of this happened and then this character did this, and then we start and we rinse and we repeat, and here we are again. So that was so annoying to me. I just, I cannot, I had my issues with it. You got a lot of sunshine, grumpy sunshine situations going on, but it just, I don't know. I'd want to read the 5th book. Where I'm landing with this one, I think this one was squarely a 3-star book. Of the 3 that I've read, this one would be the lowest on my enjoyment level, followed by I accidentally hooked up with the vampire. I rated that one 4 stars just because I really enjoyed my time reading it. I thought that the main female character was really, really funny. I thought her friends were hilarious as well. I enjoyed how the main male character took everything that he was being thrown with stride. And I just loved that they were able to talk and communicate, and it felt natural. I don't know. And my number 1 read book in the first 15 days of April is, without a doubt, Sunrise on the Reaping. Not even just because it was nostalgic to me, but because the writing and everything, the message, everything was just spectacular. I thoroughly enjoyed the ending. I thoroughly enjoyed the characterization, the world building. Even though we are very familiar with what the inner workings of Panem are, we still were able to learn more through the eyes of the main male character, Hamish. That's not a surprise to any of you, but I just thought everything about this book checked my boxes for just, this is a book that I could rate 5 stars. So I'm excited to see which book is going to shake out to become the top read book for me in April. So I will be making another one of these towards the end of the month, and we will check back in and see what book will turn up on top for the end of this month. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and see you next time.